Hey, what's up, guys? Gons here for the Face Like the Sun channel. I wanted to share with you guys some information that is both disturbing, but also encouraging at the same time, and I'll explain why. Now, a few weeks ago, we published Canary Cry Radio episode number 132, Camp of the Unknown God with Teichrib. And we talked about how Burning Man is this event that is the tip of the spear for culture. And his attendance last year gave him the opportunity to understand how culturally influential this event is. He wanted to get out there again this year, but he was a little short on resources. That's when you guys stepped up. You guys who have been following Face Like the Sun, who have been subscribed and support Canary Cry Radio, you guys stepped up prayerfully and faithfully and chipped in for the cause, and Teichrib and a team of people were able to go out to Burning Man. And in the process, my co-host Basil also made it out there. And in fact, if you're part of the Canary Cry Radio Patreon, you'll get a couple extra audio stuff where, Basil goes around for an hour at Burning Man with a microphone and you hear all kinds of crazy stuff. You really get a sense for what it's like to be in the dirt at Burning Man. It's quite intense. And we also have a sit-down conversation talking about all the stuff that he saw at Burning Man. It is over the top, folks. But we also just released a flyby. Burning Man 2018, boots on the ground. And this was a conversation between Basil, Teichrib, Bob, Jen Doe, who is a friend of ours and has been helping out the podcast, as well as Justin Fall of The Fourth Watch and now Skywatch TV. And in the conversation, Jen Doe and Teichrib share something very, very interesting.
The workshops are like the craziest thing I've ever heard. I mean, there was one on cryptocurrency and psychedelics and stuff. Were you at that one?
Not that one, but a different one.
The cryptocurrency and spirituality.
Crypto. Tell me a little bit about that. I meant to go in there. I couldn't.
I didn't stay at that one. I went to go speak with one of the speakers at the microdosing and ayahuasca and leadership, and I got to speak with her for about 45 minutes face to face, and it basically came down to it that she was had the real Christ consciousness in her, not the fake Christ of the Christian church, which
the cosmic Christ,
right? Yeah. Which we also learned at that workshop that there's, how do I put this? An agenda that will directly affect the evangelical mainstream Christian.
So that was very, very cryptic. What does that mean?
She wasn't cryptic at all.
Well, I was intentionally cryptic.
What was the agenda? Are you keeping this secret? What's going on here? It's a secret cabal?
We aren't. It's big, and so we have to kind of figure out a strategy to attack it. And
wait, well, okay, so you said that she has an agenda to take down the mainstream Christian church.
That will directly affect.
And what is that? What is her agenda?
That's what we're keeping cryptic.
Actually,
I guess that's my question.
We were at a workshop where a very well-known personality within a particular professional field had been enlightened with ayahuasca and now has made inroads into a major Christian outlet and asked for prayer, quote unquote, by all the others who are psychedelic spiritualists, in Jen's words, spiritual drug dealers, and that's what this is. Yeah. She coined it. It's a great word, a great term. She needs to trademark that one. And she was so excited that this inroad for her would, in the very near future, if it all worked out, would enable her to bring ayahuasca enlightenment to the Christian community without the Christians ever really realizing that they're being sold this new way of thinking.
That sounds like a real...
The names are names were said, directly given. And I honestly think that the people involved don't understand what's going on. They're thinking that this is just simply a professional connection. But the person who was telling us had something else in mind besides a professional connection, a worldview.
So I'm assuming you're keeping this a secret because you're going to get the exclusive...
It's not exclusive. It's if we can approach this individual and organization first and warn them, then I will never even mention who it was publicly because there's no point.
Okay.
We just don't want the other side knowing that we know.
Oh,
we felt like we were the two spies in the camp.
Got it.
They had no idea that we were in their safe.
I felt kind of like a spy here too. Got a lot of people.
Like we were in her safe space.
So there you have it, folks. An entrepreneur who had an ayahuasca experience and who wants to use her software product to secretly spread her spirituality to unsuspecting Christians. This is nefarious, folks. This is the spirit of Antichrist. And here you can see the event that they attended at the Playa. It was Startups, Ayahuasca, Microdosing, and Leadership. Now, if you guys are unfamiliar with ayahuasca, it is a substance used in many shamanic rituals, and it's becoming a popular practice amongst entrepreneurial types. Now, the main ingredient in this concoction is DMT. The DMT is considered the spirit molecule based on the research of Dr. Rick Strassman, where he showed that people who receive a certain dose of DMT experience similar encounters visually, but also with entities, both positive and tremendously negative and traumatic experiences. And the same researcher, Rick Strassman, also has a book called DMT and the Soul of Prophecy, a new science of spiritual revelation in the Hebrew Bible, where he argues that perhaps the mechanics of the visions that were had by the Old Testament prophets includes DMT as part of the vehicle to have these visions. So he's not really trying to address who might be behind the visions or why or how exactly, other than perhaps to say DMT might have played a role in the mechanics of it all. And for that, I think there's something interesting there, because he does show similarities between the patients he studied and the visions that were had in the Old Testament, specifically surrounding Ezekiel. And you have to keep in mind, DMT is a naturally occurring substance in your brain, but high doses causes, what people consider altered states of consciousness or hallucinations, or what I believe are basically a view into the spirit realm. And that's because the cutting of the root of the Watchers, right? That was one of the things that the Watchers taught humanity according to the Book of Enoch. And you consider the Mimosa hostilis, which is a DMT-rich vine that's used as the main ingredient of an ayahuasca analog in Europe and North America. So I don't think this is a new thing. I think this is a very old practice that the shamans have kept in human traditions for centuries ongoing. And the entities that these people encounter, I believe, are rebel watchers who may be appearing as angels of light, or just straight up demonic entities. And this is something that can also consistently be demonstrated, because every single time there's a message from this type of experience, it is categorically antichrist in its messaging, no matter how it's packaged. It's not atheistic. It's actually more pantheistic or pantheistic. It's also very pagan. That's why Carl Teichrib talks about neo-paganism and the creation of the modern gods, which ties in right into the AI discussion, which has connections to the tech industry. And again, this microdosing idea is this concept of these tech guys in Silicon Valley and other places to take small doses of things like ayahuasca. I don't know if it's exactly ayahuasca or other psychedelic drugs like LSD or psilocybin. They take small doses of it and go to work. And they believe that they are more productive and are able to hone in their creativity, but really they're just allowing these fallen entities to channel through in all their work. And when you consider that, think about the products that are being created under that condition. And so this is biblical prophecy. And I suggest that because of what it says in Revelation 18, verse 23. At the very bottom of that passage, it talks about all nations being deceived by your sorcery. Now, that word sorcery is pharmakeia. And yes, that is where we get the English word pharmacy. And it means magic, sorcery, enchantment. Help Word Studies defines it as administer drugs properly, drug-related sorcery, like the practice of magical arts. And then consider the quote by Arthur C. Clarke, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Sorcery is being revitalized through technology. And I think that has been the purpose of the internet, the purpose of computers all along. And the sooner we realize this, the sooner we can begin to prepare the day we have to walk away from all this stuff. But in the meantime, again, it's thanks to the community of people that support everything that we do over here at Canary Cry Radio and Face Like the Sun, everything else. You guys are the ones that encouraged and stepped forward to help us have boots on the ground at Burning Man and look at the report we received and the potential prevention of this really, really serious spiritual agenda. Dark spiritual agenda, antichrist spirit agenda. Only our community is equipped to call those things out. And I'm actually really stoked and proud to be a part of this whole thing because it's bigger than me. It's bigger than each one of us doing this stuff on this side of the microphone. It's about God. And when he leads, incredible things happen. And I think he can use us to continue to prevent the deception that is going to be rampant. Even more, folks, it's going to be out of control. I think what we're seeing now with the lunatic left and all the stuff that's taking place is a shadow of how insane it's going to get as time goes on. So really need to pray up and prepare spiritually so we can deal with everything else in the physical. So thank you guys for the support, the prayers, the covering. It's really needed and it's really appreciated because it really, for us, it confirms so much of what we are being led to do in a way that is communal. And it's not just, a personal direct confirmation from God. It's more like a communal verification that God is saying, hey, you guys over here, you guys are on the right track. You guys are over the target. You guys are on it. So good job. Keep it up. Stay encouraged. Even though all the stuff is getting dark, we are the light that will shine brighter as the world gets darker and darker. Have an awesome day, guys. God bless.